for those of you who are here, if you're her peeps, great, you know she's terrific. For the rest of you, I'd like you to welcome Susan Just.
Happy New Year. And I'm really glad that you've come here to experience this year 2015, and you braved the weather out there. As I posted on Facebook, as Minnesotans, we actually eat cold weather for breakfast. Did you enjoy it? Yeah. So, one of the things, too, that I know about you coming here today is that you're ready to embrace your life. I'm really impressed with how many people are here. And if you're watching this on YouTube in the future, you too are embracing life. And it's important to do that. Today I'm going to talk about New Year's resolutions. They say when you have a talk to define what the talk is going to be about, New Year's resolutions. It also says to define what the problem is. Well, unfortunately, New Year's resolutions often fail. I really hesitate to say that they fail more than they succeed, but I think people tend to notice the failures more than they notice the successes. And so in some ways, I'm hopeful that I can start redirecting your attention to your successes in life. And then the third thing that we're going to do in this talk is examine why New Year's resolutions fail. And in a nutshell, resolutions fail because of time and fear. Now, what does that really mean? That's what we're going to talk about in this talk. We're going to talk about time, we're going to examine time, we're going to examine fear. And it's not really these things explicitly that cause us to have problems with New Year's resolutions. What it is it's our perception of time. It's our perception of fear that causes us to have problems with New Year's resolutions. Now, to really break it down, New Year's resolutions, it's just a goal. It's just an opportunity. It's just us setting our priorities and deciding what we want to do with life. Now, before I go further, I probably should explain what makes me an expert on New Year's resolutions, what makes me an expert on goal setting, what gives me the ability to give advice. Well, first off, I've been spending the last 10 years working with clients, working with people who call me on the phone, working at expos, giving talks like this. Now, that doesn't necessarily inherently make me an expert, but the fact that I work as hard on myself as I work with my clients, I kind of feel that it's an obligation as a healer to walk the same path as my clients. In fact, each quarter, I choose a new set of goals to work on, and then I get the chance to struggle. I get the chance to feel disheartened. I get the chance to feel like I'm not measuring up. It's not that I relish those opportunities, it's more that I refuse to put myself on a pedestal. Just because I'm on the stage right here, right now, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm better than you. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have more experience than you. What I'm hopeful to do with my clients and with you is to be a mirror to you. I'm merely a reflection of you. You are me, I am you. We are all walking this journey together. And so, in walking this journey, I like to look at the things that I can improve upon. And it's really ironic, and it actually helped prove to me how we really are interconnected energetically. Because the moment I start making changes in myself or start working on issues, I start getting clients along those same lines. It's odd, it's magical, and it's profound. I even have a really odd one. I used to have a fear of vomiting, and I realized that that's pretty strange. And I have a lot of confidence. I can admit to it. But I was not ever going to be the kind of friend that if you were having a wedding or a birthday party, I was not going to chaperone you and make sure, like, hold your hair back. Yeah. On so many levels, that's wrong. I'm not going to give any friend permission to drink too much, to be out of control like that. However, it was a little bit of a phobia. And so I started working on it the same way I would work on weight loss or exercise or managing food strategies, things like that. And it was really strange because I started getting clients along that line. And you would think, how many people have food phobias, or not food phobias, but vomit phobias? Well, it's more common than you would think. And that's one of the things that people probably need to realize, is that the things that you think are wrong with you doesn't make you weird. It doesn't make you wrong. And in fact, I really hesitate to use that word. Those challenges that we face does not make you an outcast, does not make you an outsider. There are more people who are walking that same path with you. And it's by having this community. I have to say, I love the internet. I love Facebook, I like LinkedIn. I don't get to participate in all these venues like Pinterest and Instagram, but I love how it makes us this bigger community, this bigger organism of thought, love, and insights. And I think that people are starting, as a society, we're starting to change, which is a good thing. Now, also, as a hypnotherapist, I've talked about hypnotherapy in the past, and hypnotherapy is just a focused state of attention. Right now, actually, it's a focused state of attention. It's also the mechanism that our brain uses to take in information, store it for later retrieval. It's essentially how we learn. So it's not this mysterious voodoo thing. A lot of people think that when they come to me, I'm going to just magically fix them. And I wish I could. If I could, though, I'd probably be super rich, and I'd be in Jamaica or somewhere else. But no, what I do with hypnotherapy is I help people relax those mental pathways that they've acquired throughout their life. And I help them take all their wisdom of today and shine it like a light into their past so that we can help them heal any fears, any misperceptions, any limiting beliefs. Now, our brain is so fantastic. It's wonderful, but it's also super, super protective. We have a high survival instinct. In fact, because of fear and our fear of death, we're often very loath to change. Also, the way our brain is structured, we will create these pathways. And if we have a traumatic event or a scary event or something profound when we're children, that's when we set the baseline for ourselves. That's where we kind of like set our programming. And if something's really scary, we have this protective mechanism where we start to wall that off. And we tuck it away and we store it for later figuring out or healing. And unfortunately, we have so much information coming into our world. We have so much stuff that we're dealing with. We often don't have the time to work on that. A lot of times, people will work on it in the middle of the night. That's why your dreams are so funky. That's why your dreams sometimes seem really crazy. And if you have a really dramatic dream at night, wake up in the morning and imagine as if you're talking to that little one inside of you and help them understand or decode that dream. That way you can access your subconscious mind and unconscious mind and actually start to heal that point in time within your brain. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. But even today I'm going to tell a little bit more because I think this goes to the understanding of time and New Year's resolutions. When people come to me, I help them heal time. I help them heal their memories. And if like right now, does anyone have someone that they're still mad at or something that happened in the past that still embarrasses them? Anyone raise their hand? Yeah, that's how time and memories are in your brain, and they have an energy associated with it, and it will sometimes impact your actions. It actually will direct it. It's the producer and director of your future actions. So if you can go and heal those moments in time, you can actually offload a lot of baggage, or as I like to say, junk in the trunk. It's a great way to lose weight is to heal your memories. Now, one of the things that I also want to so as a hypnotherapist, I go into people's past, and it can be very challenging, but also very worthwhile, because people come to me with a ton of wisdom. I like to say that actually, they come to me with a ton of wisdom, a ton of enthusiasm, but they're also scared. Like, how many people here are kind of afraid of making New Year's resolutions? Anyone want to raise their hand? Okay. How many people are making New Year's resolutions? Yeah? Do you want to share some? What's some of your New Year's resolutions? No. That's an awesome resolution. The ability to say no. I like that. That's a good one. Anyone else want to share? Yeah. Oh, that's a really nice one. I'm writing an article, and it's going to be called "It's Not About You," unless it is. But it's true. That's a big one that I've been working on this last year, to not take things personally, and to not create a dialogue about what other people are thinking or feeling. Now, when I create, just to make it simple, I have this article on my website, and it's this huge, long thing of steps, and it goes in really in depth. And so if you want to really have a line-by-line listing of how to go about doing resolutions and setting yourself up for success, go ahead and go there. The main article is all there. If you go to the blog side, the links are a little screwy, so I have to fix that. New Year's resolution. So I have 3 steps, though, in making New Year's resolutions attainable. And actually, attainable is one of the steps. I use the acronym MAM. Memorable, attainable, and measurable. All right? Memorable, attainable, and measurable. So what does that mean? Well, I'll give you examples out of my own personal life here. Attainable. All right? Here's an example of attainable. My goal this year is that when I go to sleep, I'm going to wake up. All right? It could be in the morning or it could be in the afternoon. But when I go to sleep, maybe 6 or 8 or 10 hours later, I'm going to wake up. Yeah, it's absurd. It's easy. I can do that in my sleep. Yes, I can. I just have to wake up. I'm essentially establishing success. Another attainable one. I resolve not to yell at my husband or my children. Now, it's kind of easy because I'm not really a yeller. I also don't have a husband, and I don't have children. Yeah, that one's super easy. And so, can you imagine the success I must be feeling? I'm already, being a success story on 2 resolutions. Measurable. Now, this is super important. My resolution is to not eat 10 bags of Ruffles potato chips in a month. I think I can achieve that. In fact, I'm at the stage now where I'd be shocked if I ate 1. Or how about this? My resolution, I'm not going to eat 10 bowls of cereal every morning. Yeah, I feel like a rock star. Now, I use these as exaggerations. They're absurd, but yet they illustrate the point. You want to choose resolutions that you can get on board with, that you can make a habit. And it's something, and it's based on a premise, a philosophy of life. Like, who here would go outdoors and kick a dog or be mean to a cat? Yeah. Our bodies, we're inherently animals. And so when we're not doing kind things to our bodies, it's like we're hurting an animal or it's like we're hurting a pet. And so that's kind of my baseline philosophy about working out or eating more healthily. It's if I'm going to donate time to the Humane Society, well, shouldn't I also spend time being more humane to myself? It really does start here. And it's important because it's about making ourselves sustainable. A lot of healers, a lot of people who are givers, and I'm kind of getting a sense or the temperature of this room, and I'm kind of guessing that a lot of you are givers, yeah? Yeah. And do you find you give too much? Yeah. How many here are takers? Yeah, I need to talk with you guys more because I need to learn a little bit more about that. No, I'm actually pretty good at taking. But the bigger thing is we all have to kind of learn about receiving too. And that's part of what we can do to make ourselves more sustainable. But kind of going back to making resolutions that are achievable. One of the things that people tend to do is that they focus on willpower. You know, like, I'm going to make this happen. Come January 1st, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and it's going to be a willpower thing, and I'm going to focus on it, and I'm going to make it like an everyday thing. That could potentially be an overuse of energy. Like you expend too much energy in the pursuit of that you make yourself tired and exhausted, and then you can't overcome your fears as readily. I think instead of using willpower, we need to use our free will. And free will is an important thing because it's a gift that's given to us. And free will recognizes our value in our world. It's funny because when we're children, I don't think we thought about, when I get to be a grown-up, I'm going to eat whatever I want, and I'm going to eat how much I want all the time. No, I think what we really want to do is we want to play, we want to create rewarding relationships, we want to enjoy our life. But free will, and that free will kind of dovetails very nicely to making the resolution memorable. Because we're using our free will, we're choosing to do this. When I work on, what are some of my real resolutions this year? I'm always working on being more kind to people. I really love that, not personalizing things, and I think acceptance, acceptance is, and it doesn't mean that we're going to be passive and we're going to just let people, be mean to us. Nothing like that. We can still set boundaries, but just not taking everything personally. Like recently, I moved in October of 2013, and then I had to move again in September of 2014, just this last year. So it was moving twice in 11 months. And I had a choice at that time. I could have gotten angry about it or upset. What was happening was there was a building being torn down next to my building. And somehow the landlord didn't tell me about this, even though it was something that was pretty big. It was a Linden Hills thing. I was over in France. You guys might be able to drive past it. They've got the cement things all put in there. But when I found out, I wasn't excited about living next to a construction zone for a whole year. or more, especially when I work with people. And I didn't want the outside noise to overwhelm what we were doing inside, because I office out of my abode. So I kept my eye on it, on the situation, and it turns out that I was able to leave. All things worked out okay. But the really important thing that I did was I decided how much energy I was going to give it. And it wasn't just physical energy, it was how much emotional energy that I was going to give to that situation. I didn't spend a whole lot of time being mad. I didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to choose villains, trying to make this person right or that person wrong. All I did was like, okay, here's the situation that I've been handed. I didn't personalize it. It's not God looking down at me and saying, Susan, I need you to suffer just a little bit more. I didn't think God was out to get me, you know. And so I just kind of did my deal. And now I'm in a place that's really quite awesome. If you're on Facebook, you might have seen pictures of it. And I even have a car stall, or I think they call them garages. And I'm really excited about that. So personalizing. And actually, there's a meme going around on the web right now. And it's about everything you do is based on the choices you make. It's not your parents, your past relationships, your job, the economy, the weather, an argument, or your age that is to blame. You and only you are responsible for every decision and choice you make, period. It's kind of interesting. It's empowering, yes? But it's also a little there's a little shaming to it too, which I don't know that I appreciate, because there are some things that from our past that can kind of direct our energies into today. We are not our parents, but we've learned a lot about our parents or from our parents. In fact, I like to say to people, we spend the first part of our life learning things. And then we spend the rest of our life trying to forget them. And I think even more eloquent than that, though, we spend the rest of our life trying to understand them or create wisdom from them. I think that's the biggest thing, is when you understand your past, when you have compassion and kindness for your past, when you stop personalizing your past, then you can stop using it as a weapon against the world. And that's one of the most important things about resolutions, I think. Because I think it's, when we choose to make resolutions, we're trying to make a kinder, nicer iteration of ourselves. We're trying to contribute to the greater good of the world. And that's why I really don't want anyone to give up on doing New Year's resolutions. The biggest, most important goal is to practice them. That's one of the biggest things. Because people, when they make resolutions, they expect perfection, and they also expect forever. Isn't that funny? 6 years ago, I decided to cut out caffeine from my life because I really needed to get it under control. And so I did. And now, 6 years later, I'm drinking coffee in a civilized way. I'm not like mainlining it. I don't drink Diet Mountain Dew anymore. So you can make changes on your resolutions without feeling that you failed. The fact that I did it for that amount of time was awesome. Now here's the thing though, putting things in perspective, deciding what your priorities are for this year, for your life. Because right now, this moment, this is the first moment of the rest of your life. Everything that came from your past, it's not necessarily bad stuff. In fact, you can take some really negative stuff and you can choose it into points of strength. I've had clients who have had some extremely challenging pasts. It's amazing. Abuse, mom and dad not there, or mom and dad fighting all the time, I have to say, if you're contemplating divorce, and normally I don't advocate hugely strongly for divorce because I feel like people should work on their issues. And if you're not going to work with this person, you're still going to have to do that work with the next person. But if you're creating an environment of discord and anger for your children, or your puppies or your kittens, it might be time to move along or decide to be different in that relationship. But the reality is, though, with wisdom, there's 3 levels of truly being wisdom or attaining it. And at first, when we encounter information, it's like we're memorizing it. The second level of attaining wisdom is understanding it. And then the third and final level of wisdom is actually being it. So being it in everyday life, not thinking, I should be less angry. Really being wise is choosing not to reach to anger as a tool anymore. Anger is fear that something's not fair and it won't ever be fair. I doubt that this group is a very angry group. Although, if it happens, if it does come out, you probably have more tools to work with it because you guys take that extra step of feeding your mind, of feeding your life by coming here today, by coming here anytime you come here, to listen to people, to be inspired by them. I actually used to be a really angry person. And I know by the softness of my voice, that's probably hard to wrap one's brain around. But yeah, I used to be a really angry person. And it was kind of what I was taught when I was a child. And my parents, they just did the best that they could. But my environment was, you solve something by getting angrier. I'm actually shocked at how that's also being taught in our schools today by students to students. And also by the words that we use. The words that we use can be really, really important. A lot of these reality shows about how when they're about to get kicked off the island or they're about to get cut from that ink master show, and they have to advocate for themselves. They have to fight to stay on the show. And my idea of interacting with the world is, no, you don't have to fight, but you have to participate. You have to create a philosophy of why you're choosing to live. Now, time. We have a lot of sayings associated with time. Here's some time idioms. It's about time. Time will tell. There are things that are timeless. Hitting the big time, It's all about being famous. Doing something in real time. Now, I love that because it's real time as opposed to fake time. It's like going to a restaurant and you see a sign on the restaurant and it's saying, good food. It's like, oh, shoot, I really wanted to go to the restaurant with the bad food. There's even a magazine named Time. We live on borrowed time. We're having the time of our life. That one's kind of sad in a way, because I would hate to dictate that this one moment was the time of my life and everything in the future is going to pale in comparison. So yeah, I'm not a real big fan of that. All in good time. Oh, geez, that one bothers me. And because one of the things that I find my clients and people doing is that they want to wait for the right time. The right time to do the resolutions, the right time to embrace their life, the right time to stop killing themselves. Cigarettes, poor relationships, all of that. Waiting for the right time. Now, there's some logic to it, and there's some pragmatism to it, but there is no good time. In fact, I can't tell you how many times I was like, oh, I'm just going to do this, and I'm just going to give me some me time, and I'm just going to hang out. And then all of a sudden, I catch a cold, or some other things crowd in, and then the stuff that I really wanted to do, I don't have the time to do anymore. And so now I've tried to, when I have the available moment, to act on that available moment. It's kind of funny. We spend a lot of time hating work, or being mad at bosses and resenting going to work. And one of the things that I discovered as we're trained that, it's indoctrinated into our society. Sitcoms are based on it, about people being mad about going to work. And the reality is, it's a reality. And when I started having my own business, there were times when I would procrastinate or not get things done. I was wondering, what's going on here? Why am I, this is for my own good. Why am I fighting myself? And I deconstructed it, and I went to the root, and I realized that baseline social conditioning was acting out. That because I could no longer use that sword on someone else, because I didn't have a boss anymore, but I was my own boss. So now I was taking that perception, and I was wielding it on myself. I was rebelling against myself. So I have started to really change my relationship with work. I don't do my work because I have to. I do enjoy the money, don't get me wrong, but I do it because I want to do it. And I hope that if you're not doing the work that you want to be doing in this 2015, then make peace with it. And by making peace with it, that means either changing your job or finding the silver lining and realizing that your job might subsidize other activities that are going to be more worthwhile. It's just changing your perspective. The Rolling Stones tell us that time is on our side. I don't know about that, because you guys have experienced the phenomena when you're young. Can you imagine, can you remember how slow time is? Oh my gosh. I think as children, we invented boredom because time was so slow. And then there's then the time happens when you're, 20s, 30s, and it's infinitely faster. And it's almost speeding by. In fact, my mom, who is in her 80s, actually she's about to turn 80, 4 years ago, it was just before June or the beginning of June, and I was bringing to her the idea of some things that we could do later in the summer. And I said, we got a plan for this. And she said, well, the summer's almost over. I was like, what? We haven't even hit the summer solstice. We can't even consider this to be the summer yet because we're still in springtime. But my mom had already put a date stamp time on summer, and she thought it's all done. But the biggest thing is, there's a quote actually. What is it? There's a quote that I wrote down, and it was about, all right, I have to do it from memory. The past is history. Tomorrow is the future. Today is a gift because it's the present. All right, a little sickening, I know. It's a little schmaltzy, but when you sit and think about it, wow, now the present, it's a gift. Oh, gratitude. And that makes me feel so much more appreciative. Linda, I can't see the clock. What time is it? Okay, we're on time. This is good. Got to throw that in, All right, what was I just talking about? Gratitude. Help me remember that about 5 minutes from now, okay? Because that's going to be an important point. Killing time. I know. when you put it in isolation like that and you just focus on it, how many people here have killed time? I know. Yeah, it's kind of like scary, and I generally avoid saying that. A Spanish proverb, time gives good advice. A very wise gentleman, Dion Boucicault, he said, people talk about killing time, while time quietly kills them. So, one of the things, John Lennon, I love this. I probably should save this for the ending, but time you enjoy wasting isn't really wasted. So it kind of comes down to the whole attitude that you adopt. Whether you're doing resolutions, whether you're setting goals, whether you're choosing to interact with the world around you. The reason why people get so caught up in time is that it's connected to death. And so many times we're afraid of thinking about death that we start associating death and time, and we start becoming afraid of time. And that's one of the reasons why I really advocate being very present when you think about how you want to spend your time. Adopt an attitude of practicing. There is no failure. There is no cheating. It's funny, with weight loss, there's now the 5-2 diet, where you're on the diet 5 days, and then you get to cheat on 2 days. And I really disagree with that word because we're not children. We're not rebelling against society. We're actually rebelling against ourselves. And so to create this attitude of, oh, you get to cheat, to me that's not exciting. that seems very strange. But I think it's okay to use the 5-2 diet and, give yourself the freedom and flexibility to have 2 days off. That makes sense. But the words you use can really powerfully dictate whether you're going to keep up with your resolutions, whether you're going to keep up with your goals for yourself or your philosophies of life. Going back to the whole idea of failure, I really don't believe in failure. I was like, what is it? It doesn't exist in my world. In the advertising world, we have like an 80-20 rule, where you try to achieve 80% of your requirements, your timeline, and your budget. There are 3 points to the triangle of any project: time, budget, and requirements. And 80-20. Well, when it's software development, it's actually more like 60-40. It's crazy. How many times has your computer crashed in the last month? And think of ourselves as like one amazing piece of software and one amazing piece of hardware. And yeah, we can strive for perfection, and it's always nice to strive. But when I say shoot for the stars and at least you'll end up on the moon, you might as well try. But throw away that whole concept of failure, because frankly, it doesn't exist. And even the whole, I have to admit, the whole web thing can be a little daunting to me, because when you see the trolls lurking in the comments, there are times I can't even read comments because it's this toxic environment. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I don't have to read that. But I realize the whole idea of not personalizing things, but also throwing away the whole idea of failure is important for you to achieve your bucket list. And I have to say, bucket lists are good. It's actually just another way of saying New Year's resolution, And I'm okay if people keep on rebranding the concept of New Year's resolutions or goals, because this is your life. This is your only chance that you get to be Linda, that you get to be Lynn, that you get to be Pam, that you get to be John. It's the only life that you get to be that person. And if you believe in future lives and past lives, yeah, you might get a bunch of do-overs, and that's fun. But it's not going to be as John. It's not going to be as Pam or Lynn or Linda. It's going to be as some other amalgamation of goals and ideas and thoughts that you want to improve upon. So if this is going to be the first day of the rest of your life, what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? Because that choice really does come down to you. But use that choice compassionately. Understand how you want to drive your car. I have one other goal or resolution that I'm going to share with you guys today. And I'm working on a project. And it dovetails so nicely with the hypnotherapy work I do and work on the past for people. It dovetails so nicely with the talks that I do and the things I write. But I'm making a documentary. And interestingly enough, 25 years ago, I got an installation grant with a friend, and I did the video portion of it and the light portion of it. And in developing the content, I interviewed people about their soul, their sense of spirituality, their motivation and goals in life. And now, 25 years later, I'm finding these 16 people again and re-interviewing them. So essentially, creating a spiritual time capsule. A lot of them are still located here in the cities, but a good portion have dispersed. A couple are in California, one's in Maine, one's in Tallahassee, New Mexico, and one's a part-time B&B owner in Jamaica. It's kind of fascinating. And in the process, I've already started doing the videos, re-interviewing, one of the people is actually my ex-husband. And because we had just started dating when I first started doing this project. And if you're doing the math, 25 years ago, so I was about 4 years old when I did this project, okay? But my ex-husband is in the piece, and he's been very graciously a part of it. And so I might end up being a part of the documentary, of the interviews as well myself. But it's been fascinating. I don't quite have a title for it yet. I have a broad understanding of it, but I'm just kind of like letting it play out on its own. In fact, one of the people that was interviewed was a young boy, and we interviewed him and his mom. And so that's going to be fascinating, seeing the dynamic between them. One of the phrases that comes up a lot in these interviews is one of the things that each person seems to be trying to do and has said that they're trying to do it is that they've been learning to love themselves. And so, and that also comes back to that gratitude thing. Being grateful for your world and participating more directly in your world is so important. Before I get off of this project that I'm doing, I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter campaign, and I'm hoping to launch it next week. I will have it on my Facebook site, my website, and if you guys are inclined to go and view some of the video, put in words of support, share it with your friends, and or even contribute some sums for it, it will be all gratefully accepted. But first and foremost, though, contribute to Lake Harriet Spiritual Community Center, because what this organization does is truly beautiful. And so I just don't want to supersede. If you have limited funds, keep it going here. I'm going to be okay. But if you want to contribute it to my project, that would be super awesome. Because I kind of do fit the definition of a starving artist, hoping to change that soon. But back to that whole, everyone is learning to love themselves. When you make your resolutions, do it as an act of love. when you trip up, when you make a mistake, and that's what's going to happen. You will make a mistake. You will not be perfection. But when you do that, forgive yourself. Don't forget what happened. Learn from it. Become informed from it. Be inspired by it. But make these resolutions an act of love that supports you and that allows you to live the life that you've dreamed of. Thank you so much for coming today. And it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. And I love you all. Thank you. So here's the exercise. Make eye contact and look at them, and one goes first, and say to that person, I love you. Okay? It's platonic, but it's heartfelt. And say, I love you to them. And then send that love energy to them. Now, you as the receiver, take that energy into your heart. Okay? And then what's going to happen is take it into your heart, and if you're able to, go ahead and recycle it back out and say, I love you to that person back. Okay? And the benefit to this is that rather than just give energy or love or take energy and love, if we allow ourselves to receive it, we can recycle it and become more sustainable. All right, let's try it. Huh? Thank you. And I love you.
Thank you.
And hug. Yeah. Oh, and then go ahead and hug them. Yeah. Isn't that fun? All right. Let's find a new person. Let's break up the circle, find a new person. And just go maybe a couple people away. I'll do you. You guys do each other. Okay. I love you, Pam.
I love you, Susan.
Yay. Doesn't that feel great?
Yeah, it's weird. I did kind of feel it when you said that.
Yeah.
Like some energy.
Yeah. Doesn't that cycle, doesn't that work? All right, let's do one more because it all works best in threes. So cross the circle. Go to someone across the circle. Because sometimes we have to get outside our comfort zone. All right? Let's all just go in the middle, and the first person you meet is a person that you're going to say, I love you to. I love you. Thank you. And then I hug. Go ahead and hug. Seal the deal. All right. Do it 3 more times. All right, I'm going to do you guys.
Hi.
Hi. I love you.
I love you.
Thank you. All right, now I'm going to make myself challenge myself. Someone I don't know. How about you? I love you. Oh. Okay. I get to do Linda. I love you. Oh, how about you? I love you. Yay. I love you. Oh. This is so great. Everyone, I love you, Gary, and all that you do at LHSC. You rock. I hug real forcefully. All right. I love you. You're right. Everyone, with that warmth of love, enjoy the rest of your day. There is no cold outside, although we're prepared for it. Yeah. Thank you. Hey.